Today's D&D Academia is about the naturally gifted spellcaster, the Sorcerer. You can find the Sorcerer in the Player's Handbook and additional sources in Tosh's Cauldron of Everything. Golden eyes flashing. A human stretches out her hand and unleashes the dragonfire that burns in her veins. As an inferno rages around her foes, leathery wings spread from her back as she takes to the air. Hair whipped by a conjured wind, a half-elf spreads his arms wide and throws his head back, lifting him momentarily off the ground. A wave of magic surges up from him, through him, and out of him in a mighty blast of lightning. Crouching behind a stalagmite, a halfling points a finger at the charging troglodyte. A blast of fire springs from her finger to strike the creature. She ducks back behind the rock formation with a grin, unaware that her wild magic has turned her skin blue. Sorcerers carry a magical birthright conferred upon them by an exotic bloodline, some otherworldly influence, or exposure to unknown cosmic forces. One can't study sorcery as one learns a language, any more than one can learn to live a legendary life. No one chooses sorcery, the power chooses the sorcerer. Magic is a part of every sorcerer, suffusing body, mind, and spirit with a latent power that waits to be tapped. Some sorcerers wield magic that springs from an ancient bloodline infused with the magic of dragons. Others carry a raw, uncontrolled magic within them, a chaotic storm that manifests in unexpected ways. The appearance of sorcerers' powers is wildly unpredictable. Some draconic bloodlines produce exactly one sorcerer in every generation, but in other lines of descent, every individual is a sorcerer. Most of the time, the talents of sorcery appear as apparent flukes. Some sorcerers can't name the origin of their power, while others trace it to strange events in their own lives. The touch of a demon, the blessing of a dryad at a baby's birth, or a taste of the water from a mysterious spring might spark the gift of sorcery. So too might the gift be of a deity of magic. Exposure to the elemental forces of the inner planes or the maddening chaos of limbo, or a glimpse into the inner workings of reality. Sorcerers have no use for spellbooks and ancient tomes of magic lore that wizards rely on, nor do they rely on a patron to grant their spells as warlocks do. By learning to harness and channel their own inborn magic, they can discover new and staggering ways to unleash that power. People with magical power seething in their veins soon discover that the power doesn't like to stay quiet. A sorcerer's magic wants to be wielded, and it has a tendency to spill out in unpredictable ways if it isn't called upon. Sorcerers often have obscure or quixotic motivations driving them to adventure. Some seek a greater understanding of the magical force that infuses them or the answer to the mystery of its origin. Others hope to find a way to get rid of it or to unleash its full potential. Whatever their goals, sorcerers are every bit as useful to an adventuring party as wizards, making up for a comparative lack of breadth in their magical knowledge with enormous flexibility in using the spells they know. At first level, sorcerers gain spell-casting ability. Charisma is your spell-casting ability for your sorcerer spells, since the power of your magic relies on your ability to project your will into the world. You use your charisma whenever a spell refers to your spell-casting ability. In addition, you use your charisma modifier when setting the saving throw DC for a sorcerer spell you cast and when making an attack roll with one. So spell save DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. Spell attack modifier equals your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. Also at first level, you can use a spell casting focus. You can use an arcane focus as a spell casting focus for your sorcerer spells. Additionally, at first level, sorcerers get to choose their subclass or their sorceress origin. They are one of few classes that get to do so. What this is the ability to choose the source of your innate magical power. Some examples are Draconic Bloodline, Divine Soul, Wild Magic. Your choice grants you features when you choose it at first level and again at 6th, 14th, and 18th level. At second level, the sorcerer gets Font of Magic. You tap into a deep wellspring of magic within yourself. This wellspring is represented by sorcery points, which allow you to create a variety of magical effects. You start off with just 2 sorcery points. You gain more as you reach higher levels. You regain all spent sorcery points when you finish a long rest. You have the ability of doing flexible casting. You can use your sorcery points to gain additional spell slots or sacrifice spell slots to gain additional sorcery points. You learn other ways to use your sorcery points as you reach higher levels. You can transform unexpended sorcery points into one spell slot as a bonus action on your turn. You can create spell slots no higher than level 5. Any spell slot you create with this feature vanishes when you finish a long rest. Converting a spell slot to sorcery points, as a bonus action on your turn, you can expend one spell slot and gain a number of sorcery points equal to the slot's level. At third level, you gain the ability to twist your spells to suit your needs. You gain 2 of the following metamagic options of your choice. You gain another one at 10th and 17th level. Also, you can only use one metamagic option on a spell when you cast it, unless otherwise noted. Careful spell. When you cast a spell that forces other creatures to make a saving throw, you can protect some of those creatures from the spell's full force. To do so, you spend one sorcery point and choose a number of those creatures up to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. A chosen creature automatically succeeds on its saving throw against the spell. Distance spell. When you cast a spell that has a range of 5 feet or greater, you can spend one sorcery point to double the range of the spell. When you cast a spell that has a range of touch, you can spend one sorcery point to make the range of the spell 30 feet. Empowered spell. When you roll damage for a spell, you can spend one sorcery point to re-roll a number of the damage dice up to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. You must use the new rolls. You can use Empowered Spell even if you have already used a different metamagic option during the casting of the spell. Extended Spell. When you cast a spell that has a duration of 1 minute or longer, you can spend one sorcery point to double its duration to a maximum duration of 24 hours. Heightened Spell. When you cast a spell that forces a creature to make a saving throw to resist its effects, you can spend 3 sorcery points to give one target of the spell disadvantage on its first saving throw made against the spell. Quicken Spell. When you cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action, you can spend 2 sorcery points to change the casting time to 1 bonus action for this casting. Seeking Spell. If you make an attack roll for a spell and miss, you can spend 2 sorcery points to re-roll the d20, and you must use the new roll. You can use Seeking Spell even if you have already used a different metamagic option during the casting of the spell. Subtle Spell. When you cast a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to cast it without any somatic or verbal components. Transmuted Spell. When you cast a spell that deals a type of damage from the following list, you can spend 1 sorcery point to change that damage type to one of the others on the list. That includes acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, thunder. To be eligible, a spell must be incapable of targeting more than one creature at the spell's current level. For example, Magic Missile and Scorching Ray aren't eligible, but Ray of Frost and Chromatic Orb are. Twin Spell. When you cast a spell that targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of self, you can spend a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level to target a second creature in range with the same spell. 1 sorcery point if the spell is a cantrip. Once you get to 4th level, and again at 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level, you have a choice. You can increase one ability score of your choice by 2, or you can increase 2 ability scores of your choice by 1. As normal, you can't increase any ability score above 20 using this feature. You can also use the optional feats rule, and you can forego taking this feature to take a feat of your choice instead. Also at 4th level, you can choose Sorceress Versatility. Whenever you reach a level in this class that grants the ability score improvement feature, you can do one of the following, representing the magic within you flowing in new ways. Replace one of the options you chose for your metamagic feature with a different metamagic option available to you. Or replace one cantrip you learned from this class's spellcasting feature with another cantrip from the sorcerer's spell list. At 5th level, you get magical guidance. You can tap into your inner wellspring of magic to try to conjure success from failure. When you make an ability check that fails, you can spend one sorcery point to re-roll the d20, and you must use the new roll, potentially turning the failure into a success. Finally, at 20th level, you get Sorceress Restoration. You regain 4 expended sorcery points whenever you finish a short rest. This has been D&D Academia's episode all about the Sorcerer class. I hope you found this educational and perhaps this has piqued your interest enough to try a Sorcerer out for yourself. As always, if there is anything you would like to see get an Academia episode, just mention it in the comments. And please like, comment, share, and subscribe.